The battlefield trembled as jagged earth sighed open. From a smoking crater, something fragmented metallic bone and woven light pulled itself upright. Above them, the sky split like glass, thin branching cracks spidering toward the horizon. Something answered. At first it was a mouth of echoes, a face like stacked realities, speaking out of sync. A voice stumbled over itself saying, "You carry an anomaly." The words hung, fragmented, impossible, and the name Emsky tightened in the air. The thing reformed, limbs folding wrong, posture no longer attack but calculation. It spoke with measured dread, not of the lattice, not of the grid, not of any mapped causality. Wind from the sky shard whipped Super A's cape. He saw the alarm in Emsky's eyes before Emsky did. The hero whispered, "Emsky, it knows something we don't." Emsky stared at his shimmering hand, a small universe unsteady in his palm. Light warped in his irises. His voice trembled. "What? What is this?" The answer came with force. Vistral reeled as if pushed by a presence radiating from Emsky, words jagged and panicked. The patternless, the unauthored, the originless. A flash of impossible motion filled the sky. A colossal presence made of raw, unrepeatable change. No geometry, no rhythm, only intent. It was not a system. It was a presence. Emsky clutched his head as gravity bent around the aura. Dust floated like memories. Vistral bowed its head in a terrified reverence, whispering that such a thing should not awaken within someone lattice-bound. Emsky and Super A stood together, guarded, while the cracks widened above, pulsing as if something ancient pressed through. The lattice is not the only way the universe speaks. Something has chosen Emsky. Air tastes like static. Super A stands over Emsky, chest heaving, eyes wide, as if the world rewired in a single heartbeat. "Emsky, you launched Vistral. No one's ever done that." His voice is thin with disbelief. Emsky's fingers twitch. An aura blossoms around his hand, fluid and formless. No lattice lines, only chaotic shimmer. I'm trying to stop it. It won't listen," he gasps. The energy answers with a shove. A raw pulse detonates from Emsky, a sound like mountains rearranging. "Whoom!" Super A stumbles backward, arms up against the blast. "Emsky, control it!" he shouts. Emsky grits his teeth, face trembling. Each exhale drags the aura into new convulsions, each pulse matching his heartbeat. This isn't calculation. It isn't craft. It's something older. Feeling made violent. Far below, the ground ripples from his feet, fissures blooming with the same alien light. Super A lunges for any tether memory, a stray thought, a promise to anchor the boy. "You're spiking again. Focus on anything. Anchor yourself," he cries. For a moment, everything hangs between human will and an awakened force that follows only emotion and rising now. Emsky kneels in the center of the ruined plaza, one palm pressed to the cold stone. He breathes slow and deliberate, a patient trying to steady a fever. "Okay," he tells himself. "Feel it. Don't fight it." Around him, the air trembles. The aura that has haunted them like wind in a canyon tilts its ear. For a sliver of time it answers. The restless light pulls inward, folding into a dense, impossible knot that hovers above his hand, little gravity, raw and humming. His eyes snap open, rimmed with pale fire. The world narrows to that small, terrible balance. Across the rubble, Super A takes an involuntary step back. He looks older and smaller in the presence of such intimate power. He whispers what he can't quite swallow. "Emsky, you're actually controlling it. That's terrifying." Control arrives like a bloom and deserts him like frost. The knot collapses inward and then detonates, unfurling spiraling tendrils of light that slice the air into ribbons. Emsky's steadying voice fractures. No, it's slipping while Super A lunges, not to dominate, but to shield. When the brightness falls away, the plaza is carved with new scars and the air tastes of ozone. Emsky crumples to one knee, utterly drained, his aura reduced to a flicker that refuses to die. Super A crouches beside him, a heavy hand on his shoulder, the color leached from his face by what he has seen. "You didn't just beat Vistral," he says softly. "You overpowered him, alone." Emsky stares at trembling hands that held a son and laughs without humor. "I don't know if that's good or really, really bad. Silence fell like snow across the battlefield, a hush so complete it felt wrong. Emsky knelt, one palm still warm with the fading light, and beside him, Super A crouched, armor low, eyes scanning for echoes of battle. For the first time all day, the air thrummed with a soft, low-frequency hum, a vibration you could almost see. Emsky's aura, a trembling filament of silver blue, flickered at his fingertips. It pulsed, then did something impossible. It drew itself inward, as if some invisible tide was pulling the world toward his hand. He flinched, breath-catching. Huh? Hey, what's it doing? His voice sounded small in the vast quiet. Super A straightened, muscles tensing, every instinct on guard. Emsky, they said, voice tight. Something's changing. That doesn't look like before. They stepped back, fists ready, shadowed by concern. The world softened at the edges. Colors washed flat, distant sounds musing into the haze. Objects receded, like a scene sliding behind glass. All of it fell away, except the shimmering cell of light over Emsky's palm. It warped and bent, curving into a circular distortion, a lens opening onto somewhere else. Emsky felt the moment slow. Pupils widened until the world narrowed to that glow. His chest stilled. Time felt suspended like breath held between two heartbeats. He whispered, hardly more than thought, "Someone's here." The hum deepened, as if something vast and patient had answered. It tasted of old storms and stone. It reminded him of lullabies at the edge of creation. Emsky felt an attention like distant tides turning. He did not know whether to be afraid or honored yet. In the black between heartbeats, a single rippling filament of light uncoiled. It spoke without sound, a name-like vibration that folded into him and out again. He drifts. Emsky floats in a black void, motion folded into itself. Around him, a massive, abstract thing looms, an impossible shape, always reforming. It has no face, but when it turns, the world tilts. A voice, no, an intent slides through the space. Found you. He spins, clutching his head, overwhelmed by noise that is not sound but impression. He stammers, I don't understand. Why me? What are you? The entity leans, not like a body, but like gravity. Waves of formless light wash over him, scanning, reading edges, shimmering reality where it touches. Little ripples tear and stitch the air. The entity's message is not words but cadence, not lattice, born, not written. You moved without pattern, and we heard. Emsky reaches out before thought can catch him. His hand meets the rippling mass. It offers no voice, only feeling. A burst of knowing, raw and immediate, shoots into him. No structure, no formula, only will. The thought expands. You are not bound, you are chosen. Back in the alley, he collapses forward. Super A catches his shoulder, breath knocking out of him. The void's presence flickers and withdraws. Only a faint glow lingers in Emsky's eyes, a color that doesn't belong to daylight. Emsky, talk to me. What happened? What did you see? Super A asks, voice sharp with worry. He can only whisper, trembling, not a system, not a power. It talked to me, Super A, and it knew my name. The alley hums with the afterimage of intent. Something vast has touched him. The world has been rearranged around that contact. The question hangs. Who listens when the void chooses? It touched him. A single contact, almost casual, and something stayed behind. Emsky knelt on scorched earth, his aura flaring in wild, uneven pulses. In his palm, a faint sigil shimmered, no lattice angles, no known geometry, a soft, alien glyph. Breathing, Super A hovered beside him, every instinct bristling. He had seen power change before, but not like this. The mark wrapped around Emsky's fingers, twisting into a pattern that felt liquid, intentional, and impossible. Emsky whispered, bewildered, I feel it. It's inside me. The air tasted colder. Super A stepped back, cape tense, voice low. Emsky, that's not right. It's changing you. He scanned the battlefield, searching not for visceral shadow, but for something larger, patient. The sigil floated above the hand now, pulsing with a heartbeat, aware. This was no mere new technique. This was company. A presence had entered the weave, small, precise, like a lodestone, carving space around a metal shard. Super A's grip tightened on his cape. His confidence frayed. Something's wrong. I can feel it. Emsky rose slowly, the mark glowing faintly, warping the light and bending the edges of reality around him. The lattice had guided him until now, but that architecture faltered at the sigil's edge. This is not guidance. This is claim. New, alien, dangerous. They both knew the world had shifted, and the price for that shift was just beginning. Silence falls across the fractured plain. Emsky's eyes flare a thin, cold light that mirrors the sigil seared into his skin. He blinks. The glow follows the motion, a living thread stretching from pupil to mark. It's alive, he breathes, voice small enough to be swallowed by wind and dust. Super A stumbles backward, scanning the horizon with the practiced wariness of a man who has survived too many surprises. The field looks wrong, shadows lengthen like reaching hands, lines of light warp where steel meets soil. Emsky, whatever that thing put in you, it's changing everything, he says, trying to pin meaning to the fear gnawing his gut. The sigil on Emsky's forearm throbs. He flexes his hand and the cadence deepens. A resonant thrum underfoot, thrum as if the earth itself had learned to breathe with him. Stones vibrate. A ripple of unnatural quiet runs through the ranks. The mark reacts only to him, answering his pulse and his stare, indifferent to the world around it. At the battlefield's ragged edge, Vistral pauses, fine features drawn into a stunned scowl. Its form wavers, a pattern of scales and shadow that hiccups like a reflection on disturbed glass. Impossible! Not even the lattice! The creature hisses, voice a broken geometry. Super A's face tightens into something like a prayer and a warning. He looks at Emsky and sees the wrongness settling in. Not a weapon wielded, but a will waking. Emsky, I don't like this. Whatever just happened, it's wrong. His whisper carries the weight of every battle that taught him when to run and when to stand trembling in place and watch a new danger bloom.